KXWR Warrior Radio. Yes, and welcome back to KXWR 92.1 FM Warrior Radio, the voice of Diné College. As we prepare for this year's Miss Navajo Nation pageant, we're visiting with the current Miss Navajo Nation and the contestants competing for the crown. Today we're learning more about their experiences, personalities, and what this year's pageant means to them. Joining us first is the current Miss Navajo Nation, Camille and Tilly. Thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah. Aroyate benish edo shidene do nahashine do dinecollege Diné College do anofto baostragi dan linigi she ya Camille and Tilly and she the nebich akin shle na kidemi double anadinish do na kidemi double anadi san shle ado she kintichi det nasha adone ace na jinin shle Ashe bashishin 200 dashiche ado tore kuju dashnala ado yate nana. I'm very happy to be here on the Diné College KXWR Warrior Radio.
We're excited to have you here. So to begin, can you tell us a little bit about your experience serving as Miss Navajo Nation?
Yeah, of course. My experience in vying for Miss Navajo last year was very new to me. I was never into pageantry. So vying for the title as a contestant and, being honored to wear and win the title, wearing the crown and sash, it's very personal. It's like a real big win for me because it's my first pageant. And coming into it, there's a lot of things I've learned. I'm very grateful to be here and to be in this position, and now, overseeing and just being able to, be very transparent with the current contestants about, the things that I've been able to do and things, I overcame, challenges, little things. So.
And what's been the most unexpected part of serving as Miss Navajo Nation?
Unexpected. Okay, again, it'd be my first pageant. I came off, or coming into this role straight off, like being into this high demand. Everybody wants to meet Miss Navajo. Everybody wants Miss Navajo to come talk to the students at schools. Everybody wants to meet the new Miss Navajo to, be a part of, sharing a special message. And it could be through like collaborative events or even myself hosting my own events, just sharing a big message about our culture, language. That's been so uplifting, that not only has it uplifted our kids, but, it was always inspired me to keep going. I feel like I always caught myself saying, this is what they mean. We share the common message, or it's for our youth. It's for them on Hashchine. I thought case, we're thinking of them, and at Eya, they just want to hear what we have to say to our kids. I say our kids, and then I also look at them as my younger siblings, like so I've been really, really, really grateful to be able to do that, because I don't really talk about why I ran for Miss Navajo in the beginning. I don't think I really share that often, but back in 2014, I came off still working in Phoenix through a contract, and just having this sense, of longing for home. I think, just me turning another year, turning 25 was like the biggest push of the right time to run for Miss Navajo. But during that year, I just felt like I was more attentive to what was going on back home. There was a lot of like things I didn't like hearing, like amongst our youth, and most of it was substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and it was disheartening because I actually, knew someone like my brother's age who, passed from alcohol poisoning. And I can't imagine, like what others go through, being so close to those individuals. So I was like, highlight, the they're not, they're not being told these words like what my grandma told me. And that's how I took it on very personal, like, you know, in this role as a contestant. And when I win Miss Navajo, like, I'm always gonna talk to the youth like my siblings, and that's what they need. And that's where I really implemented a lot of what I saw from my grandma, my late che at Chimasane, all binatinkindo hadne. So what they do sa yat ehigi, things they've always told us, my siblings. And that's where my biggest connection is with the youth, and everybody is sharing those kind words, those words of encouragement, words that make us strong. And auto Bikedo, like the things that we do to keep us strong, like running in the morning, praying for yourself. So those is like the things, for me, I feel like is really necessary as like we do things for ourselves and to keep us strong. And I feel like that's where I started off first, was like, this is what I want to start telling our kids, teaching our kids, like, we have these tools, these things in our culture, or words, our prayers, our songs that keep us really strong, keep us, going. So that's where I started looking at when I started running. So, yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that. Like you said, you don't really share that a lot, and you talk about the lot, but I really appreciate you. Thank you for sharing that with us, letting everybody know, because I'm sure it's given you that platform to talk about those things and really kind of express that. So I appreciate you telling us.
Yeah, of course.
So for someone who's never attended the Miss Navajo Nation pageant before, what's one thing you'd want them to know about it?
If it's your first time attending, congratulations, you're going to be coming back every year. The Miss Navajo Nation pageant really focuses on uplifting our young women, the Nebich Akit Dan Linigi, and we see them share a lot of stories and teachings. They go through a sheep butchering demo. Or they go through the sheep butchering process. Autobicado, they go through making traditional foods that that is done at home. So that's usually day one, and we see a lot of questions emerge. And here is where the crowd, again, if it's your first time, expect like different answers, is what I always say, because Navajo Nation is very large, and we come from different agencies, different communities. And over time, or from the beginning of time, we have stories that have altered a bit, or they, in one way or another, share a lot of similarities, but the lesson is always the same. And coming to our pageant, you're going to hear a lot of teaching stories of how our girls, our youth are being raised on what they're being raised on. And, I think that's the beautiful part. And I always say, there's not just one teaching. We are a big nation. I feel like, there's misconception of this is how you do it correctly. No, we do a lot of things differently. And I'm so proud of, our contestants coming forth, and but of course their families, raising them, because it can be intimidating, being out in the public, but they're there to, inspire the youth, continue to preserve the culture and language. And we're very proud to be up there, doing that, representing the Navajo Nation. And not only that, you're highlighting a lot of the matrilineal, your lineage of your mom, your grandma, your nala, aunt, who raises you in that way. So I think that really tops it off is, all those things that come forth. And it really is a leadership role when you come into this light. Kids look up to you. So I just want to, continue to tell our kids, keep learning, keep asking questions, because it's important that we keep up with our language, our culture, and to not shy away from it. I think the biggest thing that really got me as far as I did, being in that position, was to ask questions, being curious. So when you come to our pageant, expect a lot of excitement, expect a lot of support, expect a lot of anticipation. And if you don't know what's going on, really just ask questions. And, it's something to see. It's something I know our pageant is always, happy to host as part of the nomination fair. And this is the 74th annual. So for 74 years, we've been celebrating women in our culture, and it's an amazing thing. I am so proud of the work, we've been putting in. And again, the work is only going to continue after me, and that's, and it'll continue on and furthermore. So coming to our pageant, just expect a lot of excitement. And, we see these young women representing who they are, what they're doing. I just really want to applaud them for that. It's something people, they say they wish they did. So, I say, do it for the people, do it for everyone, because it's sometimes we're not always in the position to run for it, So I just want to say that part for now.
Well, thank you for sharing. And if you want to introduce the contestants, they're just their first names, who we have here today.
Okay. dinecollege.edu, a contestant number 1, Rochelle Francisco Julia. Adanana Adabikedo A, contestant number 3, JoAnni Begay. Asati Tanana Ben A, she was unable to make it due to her work schedule, so we are very understanding of that. But we do have 2 contestants here, so I just wanted to acknowledge that. And thank you again for your questions and inviting us, or having us come here to talk about, who we are, and, it's why it's so important. So,
thank you for sharing your experiences with us, and we'll have the next contestant up for this. KXWR Warrior Radio. Our next guest is contestant Rochelle Francisco. Thank you for joining us today. Could you start by introducing yourself?
Adonai Shinigi A but Ethni Michelin, Pipatwani Bashashin, Hashkan Hadzo, the Shache, Kenyani Dashanele, Quat A no Katana, Bella Eshklay Michelin, Ado Billaganak Etchagoshajet, Rochelle Rose Francisco A Dashajane, Tisia Shlenet Icy Dit Nasha. Adon never, now be Hobich A can't knock at the meal over on Nadine Huskan, don't knock at the meal over on Nadine so sit by Yeshua, Shades Asa Agonesses.
And Rochelle, what's one thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
One thing that I think people would be surprised to know about me is that I have an extensive background that is deeply rooted in tradition. So my late father, he was a Hatkafi, so a medicine man. I grew up going to various ceremonies, helping, learning, and just being there for support, I mainly attend like the Gnostic Agent Hatkal, so Nightway, Yevache ceremonies. And one thing that I particularly love helping with is sand painting.
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself to be, very artistic. I do sand painting, and I also do just regular painting with acrylic. So a lot of what I paint kind of just comes from our culture and everything. So like I said, I really just consider myself to be really artistic. And but overall, I just particularly love helping at ceremonies, just being at ceremonies. So I think that's, yeah.
And why are you excited for this year's pageant, and what are you hoping people take away from it?
Okay, so I'm mainly excited because I get to learn new skills. It's an opportunity to just be open to a lot of new teachings as well, and to just meet new people, possibly reconnect with people that I previously met before, and overall just excited to welcome all these new experiences through this opportunity.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you for visiting with us today, and best wishes during this competition.
Of course.
KXWR Warrior Radio. Our next guest is contestant JoAnni Begay. Thank you for joining us today. Could you start by introducing yourself?
Oh, got a shik a dosh the na she a JoAnni Begay and she Kanagati national touch eating pashin the vision a do touching dish chair so dish top is gonna day nasha she a nakidamil doba ana din hastan do nakidamil doba ana din susted the nepich a camp I usual taco na a shizin. Hi everyone, my name is JoAnni Begay. I'm contestant number 3 for this year's Miss Navajo Nation pageant, and I'm very excited and happy to be here today.
And what's one thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
So for me, I actually participated in college. I'm still a college student, but while attending university, I was able to be part of a dance group, and that displayed different dancing types across like Native American cultures, and presented them in a way that celebrated culture through song and dance, and it was a mix. So we had a Native section, a Latin section, and a Polynesian section. I'm trying to explain all this. But it was very fun, and I learned a lot, and it really deepened my appreciation for Native American tribes across Indian country, especially like for my own specific Navajo tribe. And it gave me the opportunity to travel internationally too, as well as domestic. And so it was really fun, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity that it gave me.
Why are you excited for this year's pageant, and what are you hoping people take away from it?
For this year's pageant, I'm excited to learn just a little bit more about the Navajo government, the different people involved with it. I mean, I know we have like a general understanding of it, but I think being able to work so closely with the different resources that the Office of Miss Navajo Nation works with is really eye-opening, and I've learned a lot so far, and the different opportunities as well has also been really enlightening. And for me personally, I feel like I want people to take away is that you don't necessarily. So I didn't grow up the most traditional or really speaking the language, and I'm still learning these things because I realized the importance of it in my life. And so I hope people take away that, you know, you're never too old to start learning these things because they are important. They're part of our identity. But also that the pageant is something very fun and very fulfilling to be able to do. And so I hope other young women who maybe are scared or timid because of the same limitations they feel as me, they are able to feel more empowered as well. So hopefully that it was like kind of mixed in there, but yeah.
Well, thank you for visiting with us today. And best wishes during this year's competition.
Thank you.